Welcome back, everyone. We're going to talk about Unit 5C today, the assessment preparation. And a lot of this is just going to be stuff that you're going to need to recognize the graphs as multiple choice. You're not going to be asked to make the graphs yourselves. So I will draw some quick sketches that won't be perfect. You have perfect looking graphs in your answer keys down, starting on page, what is that, page 12? Starting on page 12 of your document. So I'm just going to go through how to do the problem, and I'm not actually going to do all the problems myself. First thing that you want to do when you're doing, I'm going to go through and do how to do these by hand, assuming that you're not going to have a calculator with you all the time. Is you're going to want to take this list and you're going to want to order it from lowest to highest, making sure that you don't miss anything. So let's go ahead and let's look for, let's group things first, making what we're going to call a stem and leaf plot in statistics. This is going to help us to get all of our groups here that we want. So we want things that are probably, we see things that are in the 80s, things that are in the 70s, things that are in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s. Do we see anything in the 30s? I do not. I don't see anything in the 90s, but if we have them, I'll get to them in a second. Okay, so we're going to call this the stem, and we're going to call this part over here the leaf. So 69, so there's my 60s, and I'm going to put a 9. And then 70, I'm going to put a 2. 40, I'm going to put a 6. 80, I'm going to put a 1. 40s, I'm going to put comma 5. 50, there's going to be 0. 57, 61, 40, and you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing. So I'm just using the tens digit as a stem, and I'm going to use the ones digit as a leaf. This is going to help me to break this up here. 58, 74, and this is just going to help me not miss anything. 80, 47, 53. Probably only going to do one of each type here because each problem is going to take me quite a few minutes to do by hand. 46, 61, 66, 55, 79, and 84. All right, now alternatively, if you have technology, you could have entered everything into your calculator, stat edit. I'm going to erase all of these marks that I made to help me read it. I'm going to clear that list, and I'm going to clear this list. And I'm going to put in, and I'm using an emulator, so you're going to hear me typing on my keyboard quite quickly. I'm using my number pad here. 69, 72, 46, 81, 45, 50, 57, 61, 48, 56, 77, 58, 74, 73, that's an 80, 47, 53, 60, 58, 46, 61, 66, 55, 79, 84. I still don't have these sorted. So let me show you in, if I were doing it by hand, I would sort, I would go through the list again and I would say my 40s. Well, I'd actually sort by the groups that they give me. So I'd say from 45 to 49, then from 50 to 54, from 55 to 59, 60 to 64, 65 to 69, 70 to 74, and I have to go up to 84. See that? 75 to 79, 80 to 84. Those are my groups here, and I'm going to count them. So 5 to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. It's going to be my frequency, right? 50 to 54. 1, 2, 2 of them. Then I have 55 to 59. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 60 to 64. 1, 2, 3. 65 to 69. 1, 2. 70 to 74. 1, 2, 3. 75 to 79. 1, 2. And then 80 to 84. 1, 2, 3. So if I wanted to sort them on the calculator and see that, I'm going to quit out to my home screen. I'm going to hit the stat button. No, I'm not going to hit the stat button. Excuse me. I'm going to hit second stat. I'm going to hit the list feature. I'm going to arrow over to OPS. The first one says sort A. A stands for ascending. That means that I'm going to go from low to high, and I'm going to hit second L1. If you can't find second L1, go back to second list. And there's your list of variables right there, and choose L1. You can get it either way. Is it done? We're going to go back into the stat menu. We're going to look and see how it's all in order. And then I would use the order that's listed here to help me split it up into these groups that were given to me. 45, 46, 47, and 48 all qualify for 45 to 49. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I would use my down arrow key to shift through here. So they wanted frequency. They want relative frequency. What the relative frequency here is going to be that F. It's right here. We're going to call this F. It's going to be F divided by N, where N is the total number of things here. The total number here, N, was 25. So 5 over 25 is going to be 1/5. And I can write that as 2/10. 2 over 25 is going to be the same as 0.08. And then 5 over 25 again is another 2/10. 3 over 25 is going to be 12 hundredths. So let me write everything to the nearest hundredth here. 20 hundredths, 8 hundredths, 12 hundredths. 2 is the same here, it's 8 hundredths. 3 is the same here, it's 12 hundredths. 2 is the same here, it's 8 hundredths. And 3 is the same, it's 12 hundredths. Now, the next thing that I wanted in my final answer is going to be cumulative frequency. And that's going to be the sum of these frequencies. So I'm going to start off and have 20%. See, that's a 0, getting ahead of myself. Then I'm going to add this 8% to it, and I get 28%. Then I'm going to add that 12 to it, and I get 40%. Then I'm going to add this 8% to it, and I get 48%. Then I'm going to add that 12% to it, and that's going to be 60%. Then I'm going to add this 8 to it, and it's going to be 68%. Let's see, where did I mess up here? 48, 68. Oh, I missed that 0.2 there. That's what I messed up on. So I didn't give myself a lot of space here. But there's just 1 second here. I knew that I was missing some because it wasn't adding to be 100%. Make your table a lot prettier than I made my table, okay? So there's a 0.2 there. So this is 0.28, another 20% there is going to be 0.48. Then we're going to add 12% to that is going to be 60%. Add 8 to that is going to be 68%. Add 12% to that is going to be 80%. Add 8% to that is going to be 88%. Add 12% to that, I get 100% at the end, and should get 100% exactly if all these decimal probabilities here came out to be exactly equal to their fractional equivalents, or if there was not significant rounding error. It's allowed to be off by, let's say, plus or minus 1 or 2 of this last place value here that you have, but it really shouldn't be at all, because your 100% probability should be all your possible outcomes. You shouldn't get 101%, you shouldn't get 102%, you shouldn't get 99% or 80 or 98%. You should be using those fractions as your friends if you need to, if you can't get exact decimal answers. There's your idea. That's how 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are going to be, and so they're all the same idea. I'm not going to do all of them because you saw that that took me about 10 minutes to get through that one problem. Okay, so use your calculator to your advantage. Let me show you some more things that the calculator can do here. So if you, I don't think that it can do frequencies here. Let me see if it's got an operation to do that. If it's got a count feature or something like that. I know that it can tell me dimensions would be how big the list is, like how many things are in it. But I don't think that there's, so I don't think that there is a way to, now there's a way to do it in Excel. It's called count if, or you can have count ifs, and it will count the things for you that are in this range. Take this data range of if you take this whole data set and you want to count the things specifically between 45 and 49 that are in this whole data set, it'll come back and it'll tell you that there are 5 of them. And you can do that for each one of these, and you can set up a table that looks like this. If you're interested in seeing how to do that, you can, there's an ITE class at Reynolds. ITE is Information Technologies, I think is what that is. Specifically on Microsoft Excel, You can also look up how to do that. There's some good videos on YouTube. Anything that you can do for the most part on Excel, which is a paid product through Microsoft Office is what it's part of. You can also do that through Google Sheets, which is part of your free software to you that you have as part of your Google Apps for Education account. You just need to know how to do it. So there it is. There are other options that are available that are like Microsoft Office as well. If you're interested, they do pretty much the same thing for you. I can talk to you about them offline sometime if you have something else that works with Mac or iOS type thing, or you're interested in how to get software that would work that would work for your classes that require you to have a Microsoft Office format, but you can't afford Microsoft Office. There are options for that. Legal options. They're legal and good options. So, all right. Moving right along. Again, your goal is in this class is not so much to be able to do all the math that I just did. Well, somewhat, but when you get to the graphs, to be able to recognize which graph is the same and to be able to read the picture and put the picture and the data together. Your goal in Math 245 is going to be to actually take the data and make the pictures out of it, like I'm doing. So this is kind of actually a step above where you're at in this class, where this class is more see the picture, see the graph, recognize which one is correct. 245 is going to be actually drawing the graphs. All right, let me show you this one. This is going to be a vertical bar graph. So I'm going to do a vertical bar graph here. And on the bottom, I'm just going to put my tick marks here. I'm going to say there's some space here that looks kind of like a lightning bolt. Shows me that this is not to scale, that there's not the right amount of space here. 1980 is where I'm going to start. 1981. Put some space, 1982. 1983. 1984, I'm just going to space them out well, and I'm going to try and keep the same amount of space between each one of them. 1985. Now, there's no problem actually with me making the bars touch each other, but that's not the way that your answer is going to look in the back. So 21, I'm going to maybe use fives as, so I'm going to say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 for my scale. So 21 is right up here. I'm going to get the same amount on the right and on the left of my tick mark. And I'm going to make a bar out of that. That's going to represent the female babies born January 1st, 1980. And then the second one is 12. So that's going to be not quite halfway between 10 and 15. It's going to be a little below that. Halfway would be 12 and a half. So it's like that. And then 18 is going to be more than halfway. It's going to be up here a little bit closer to 20. I think I went up a little too far there. 18 roughly here. And again, you're not going to be asked to draw these. You're going to be asked to recognize which one is drawn correctly. It's going to be multiple choice for you. 30 is, I didn't even think we were going to get up to 30. 30 is way up here. 30. Okay. 27 is again way up there. Lots of babies born in 83, 84, lots of female babies. Okay, at this hospital. And then 24 is just going to be a tad bit below 25. So it's right over here, like so. And again, you see that I'm not drawing everything perfectly because it's a sketch. I'm not trying to make things as perfect as the computer did. If you would come down here though, my graph is a close approximation of what's going on there. See that? And that they did it by sixes there, I guess because they saw most everything was a multiple of 6. I wasn't smart enough to figure that out. But go ahead and look and see the numbers that they give you here, with the exception of 21. You've got lots of multiples of 6s here. See that? So I'd say you'd be safer to go by 3s. Everything is a multiple of 3. If you could go by multiples of 3 here, this is 3 times 7. This is 3 times 4. This is 3 times 6, 3 times 10, 3 times 9, 3 times 8. If you're willing to have 10 tick marks, then you could get everything exactly on a tick mark. So if you don't want to have 10 tick marks, if you only want to have like 5 tick marks, if you can go with stuff being either on a tick mark or exactly halfway between a tick mark, that would be good as well. So, all right, next one asked me to do a horizontal bar graph. That one's the same but different. So just switch these axes where the input is going to be on the vertical and the output is going to be on the horizontal. So we're going to have, this is going to be 1980, 1981. We usually go top to bottom like this. 1982, 1983, 1984, and we're trying to do this where we don't want anything on the line on the bottom. We want that to just be the axis. So this last one is going to be 1985. But I gave myself enough space there. Again, we're going to go a little bit above and a little bit below, but we're not necessarily going to make the bars touch each other. I'm going to again go by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Okay. 1980 is going to go out to 15 here. I might go ahead and let these bars touch each other because I don't have a lot of space here. Letting the bars touch each other is something unique called a histogram. You'll be asked to make a histogram later, but I'm just going to turn this bar chart into a histogram just for the sake of, I think it looks cleaner in this case. 25 there. 40, come up to here. And all my bars should be the same width. They're not going to be perfect because I'm not perfect, especially with my drawing. 25, come out to here. And then another 25 is going to come out to here at the end. And then we'd be done. That's a horizontal bar graph. If you're doing these in Excel or Sheets or OpenOffice, it's the other thing I was hinting at, you could make these things different colors and it would look really pretty. But we're just doing everything in monochrome. You're going to have a hard time doing things like this in the calculator that are just name labels. This is called nominal data. I mean, it's a little bit, you can order this, but it's hard. What do the words mean? You have to know what the word means. It's not just something that's numerical, right? So this would be something that would be best done by hand. I'll let you do that. Same thing with this data here. Hard to do this in the calculator. We've talked about what frequency and what relative frequency are. And relative frequency, you're just going to go ahead and use the probabilities to do a relative frequency graph. And all the bars should have areas. If they have a width of 1, all of them should have areas to add up to be 100% then, or 1 when we're done. Same thing with the blood types. Let's move on to these circle graphs. It's extremely difficult to tell what's going on here with these. I know that she tried to make it easy for you with dividing these up into a way that would be easy for you to count little tick marks, because she divided each of these up based off of their percentages, I think. And I think that she put 100 of these little tick marks around so that you could count each percentage and get 32 of the little tick marks. I'm just going to eyeball it, and I'm going to be pretty decent at eyeballing it. This is roughly 1/3 of the circle. So it's going to be about down here. You know, if you're cutting pizzas into thirds, it would be, you know, like this and like this, and there'd be 33%, 33%, 33%. It's like this, but it's a little bit less than that. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to say, I think that that's roughly 32%. So I'm just going to eyeball it, and I'm going to say, let's pretend that this slice here is science, and let's pretend that it represents 32%. Now I've got 8% add, so 32 plus 8 would be 40%, means that I need about 10% left here so these would be about equal parts. If I split what's left in half, this is, hang on a second, 8%, and I need 10%, so it's going to equal 50%. So that's going to be 8%. It's going to be about here, I think. Is that right? That's about the same size, but a little bit more. I think that's right. It looks like about 8%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. I might have missed it by one of those. All right. Then we're gonna, so let's say that this is social science here. And that's 8%, right? And again, Excel is going to do this perfectly. So we're at 40%. We're going to add 20% to 40%. We get 60%. So we're now going to be somewhere over here, not quite at 2/3. Come back a little bit from that. Going to be over here somewhere. I'm going to say that this is humanities. It's going to be 20% here. Then we're at see, cumulative frequency. This was 32, 38, 58. Then this is at 60, 74. So 74 is almost exactly over here. 74 is gonna, so this is gonna give me business. Let's see, 40, oh, whoops. This is 40, 60, 76. So I actually need this to be one more, not one less. 76 is going to be like this. There we go. And then this last one here is going to be other. It's going to be 24%. And that's my best approximation of what's going on. If you want to see the exact answer, scroll on down here, like I said, to this page down here. I didn't do a bad job, you know, there. See that? That's the answer compared to what I have. Now you're going to have some of these. Sorry for all the scrolling for those who it bothers. I'm going to try and stop doing that here. You're going to have some that where the percentage is not given to you. I'm going to skip down to ones like this where the percentage was not given to you. The best way for you to do this problem is to still find the percent. So that means you're going to find the whole number of people. So these are frequencies here. And I want to find relative frequencies over here or percentages. So that means that this is going to be a total of 190 to 310. This is 400 people total. So if I can take 115 divided by 400, it's going to be 0.2875. I'm going to say that that's about 29%. I'm not going to get it perfectly, but you know, then I'm going to have 75 out of 400. It's going to be I notice I've rounded both of these numbers up, right? So this might be not be perfect. I might not get 100% out of this. This is one of those places where rounding error might hurt me. Go into decimals into percents. This is going to be exactly 30%. See, I rounded that one up too. So if I add all this up, I've got too much in the way of percentage, right? If I would add see that I'm off by 1/100 of a percent. So I'm going to eyeball it, like I said. If this is 400 though, let's, could I split it up into a nice number of slices here? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 400, that's interesting that they did that. 15 plus 75 plus 120 plus 90. I'm going to make sure that I added that all together right. Yeah. So why would she split that up into 11ths? Interesting. All right. Well, go into 22s. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what we've done is we've made each of these pieces here 36, no, 18%. Each of these slices is 18%. So we've got 18 and another 9 is 27. So we're a little bit more than, we're somewhere over here. I know this is rough. This is called a donut graph. If you don't have the circle in the middle, you can do those on Excel as well. 19, we're going to have, add that, that's going to be 30, 48. So let's see here. We should have a total of 36. It's here, and then so we're going to have something like almost out to the same place, but not quite. Going to come out to here. And then 30 is going to be like this. We should be at I'm going to do these percentages. I was trying to do these numbers. Let's do these percentages. 30% is about right here. Apologies. 19% is, when I add 30% to 19%, I get almost 50%. So it's like right there. Then I add 30% again, I'm at almost 80%, so I'm somewhere over here. And the last group is like that, is 23%. So I'm going to call this Chinese, call this Indian, call this Mexican, and call this Thai. Again, I'm not doing it exactly, I'm not doing it in different colors. You would get both of those things if you used a spreadsheet program to do that. So move along on this. Histogram, I talked about a histogram already. Usually histograms are going to be based off of probabilities or relative frequencies. So find f over n here. This is going to be 11, 18, 25, 26, 30. 10 over 30 is a third. 1 over 30. 7 over 30. 7 over 30. 1 over 30. 4 over 30. Tip here is that you can make these over 30 and still be correct. 1 over 30, 1 over 15, 3 over 30 is going to be 1 over 10, 4 over 30 is going to be 2 over 15, 5 over 30, 1 over 6, 6 over 30, 1 over 5, 7 over 30, 8 over 30 is going to be 4 over 15, 9 over 30 is going to be 3 over 10, and 10 over 30 is going to be 1 over 3 for my probabilities. So, and I'm just going to use these frequencies to tell me where I'm at. So I'm from 0 to 1. It's going to be so this is 0 to, it's got to end here. I don't think they're using the tick marks. Let me see if they're using the tick marks here to make the histogram. They are. So they're saying 0 to 2. Because that doesn't change anything. Okay, so they're saying and I know this is tricky that they're doing this, but they're making groupings that touch each other that don't change. So this is the same as 0 to 2 not included, right? 1.99 something. This is 2 to 4 not included. This is 4 to 6 not included. See how they're doing that? So that's tricky to you, but you got to make the bars touch one another here. So we're going to go from 0 to 4, 6, 8, I think is what we're going to do. Now there's more than enough to go like this. Let's go 2, 4, 6, 8. There's not, but let's make it do that anyways. 10 and 12. Let's give ourselves some space, okay? So from 0 to 2, we're going to let 1 be the midpoint of that. We're going to have a value of 10 up here. It's my 10 out of 30. It's 1/3. Then I've got, for the next bar here, is going to be 1 out of 30. So that's going to come like this. Then I've got 7 out of 30 is here. Again, you're going to talk about these more in class if you have not talked about them yet. Another 7 out of 30. Then a 1 out of 30 and a 4 out of 30. It's okay that I go over to 12 here, even though 12 is not included. 4 out of 30 is 2 out of 15. So 2 out of 15 is up here. 4 out of 30. That bar is going to include everything 10 and 11. And they all should have the same width. They all should touch each other, should not cross over into the next bin, and everything in this bin should be included in this bar, nothing else. Okay. And the key thing about a histogram is that all the bars touch one another. Calculators can make histograms in a decent way, but you have to play around with it and tell it where you want the bars to start being made, how wide you want them to be made. You have to play around with it, just like I did to make the bars that touch one another. All right. Here's another group that I could go like 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 to 70, and I want 70 because I want the whole bar there. And then this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, so I want 5. So from here to there, there's 5. And then from there to there is another 5. And then from here to here is 6. Down here is 0. So that goes right there on that line. And then this next bar is from here to here is 4. That probably was the easier example to do with the way that the tick marks were laid out. Get used to histograms. They're something special that you're going to do a lot of in statistics, especially if you do relative frequency histograms like I did over here, because all of these bars, if they have a width of 1, should give area that adds up to be 100%, and having area that adds to be 100% is something special that we like in statistics. I did not make all of them have a width of 1 here. I made them all have a width of 2. So if I would multiply this all out, this should add up to be 200%. But, let's go ahead and it's more relative frequency histograms. See that one there specifically says relative frequency histogram. So that's what I did back here. Just a regular old histogram, I guess, is what they wanted here. So let me go back and change these limits here and not feel bad about it. I do not want you to figure out all these percentages and all these fractions and feel bad that I put you through all that, but I got you ready for that problem that was down there. But this one says just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That would have made everybody's easier. All right, relative frequency histogram, we're going to have to put things in order and count them again and find percentages, and you're going to have to use the bins. So let's go ahead and let's put these in order. Use my calculator to do that. Stat, edit. And I'm focusing on this because this is an important skill later for statistics. And it's something that my calculator can do quite well. So I'm going to do this one beginning to end with the calculator. 8, 5, 5, 8, 6, 5, 8, 6, 7, 5, 8, 7, 4. I have 24 pieces of data that matches what I was told N is up here. This is my N. So I have 24 pieces of data. I'm going to let the calculator sort them, just like we did last time. I'm going to come in here, second list, operations, sort ascending, second L1. Done. Do not have to make the stem and leaf plot here because there's not 2 digits, right? It's only 1 digit, no use making a stem and leaf plot for this. We're just going to have to sort them by hand, and we're going to have to put them in bins that are 3 to 4, 5 to 6, 7 to 8. Let's see what my highest value is here. We've got 9s, so 9 to 10 is going to be my last bin. So this is going to be my bin. This is going to be my frequency here. And this is, let's count the 3s and 4s that we have. Have 1, 2, 3. We should have 3 and 2 4s. 3 of them. 5s and 6s, we should have lots of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should have 6 5s and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 6s. So we should have 6 and 7 is 13. Let's see if we have 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yep. 7s and 8s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We should have 7 of them. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That leaves us with just 1 9. Does this add up to be 24, 16, and 7 is 23, and 1 is 24? It does. We didn't miss anything. And we want relative frequency F over N is going to be 3 over 24. It's going to be 1 out of 8. It's going to be 13 over 24. It's going to be 7 over 24. This is 1 over 24. So if I make these 24ths here, I do 1 out of 24, 2 out of 24, 3 out of 24, 4 out of 24, 5 out of 24, 6 out of 24, 7 out of 24, 8 out of 24, 9 out of 24, 10 out of 24, 11 out of 24, so on like that. I could, but I probably don't need, I probably need close to that many. 12 out of 24 is half. 13 out of 24. See, that's where I need to end, is up there at 13 out of 24. 14 out of 24 is going to be 7/12. 18 out of 24 is going to be 3/4. Let's stop up there, something like that. It's really hard to figure that out, but 3 out of 24 is just going to be 3 out of these tick marks. So now let's figure out on this scale. I need, let's see, they want me to have this be, this right endpoint be 5, I think, and this one be 3, and then this one be 7, and then 9, and then 11. Let's try that, something like that. So we're going to start at 3 and go up to 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to start at 5. We're going to go all the way up to 13 here. Oops, not doing a great job of drawing that. Sorry. Should have the same width as the other one. Should look like a rectangle. And then the next one, we're going to go up to 7, which is going to be right here. And then the next one is going to be 1, which is going to be down here again. Okay. And there you go. Something like that. Now I want to do a line chart. I'm going to have to actually find the class marks. So I'm going to have to find the thing that's in the middle here because I have to use a single point. So I'm going to use, I'm just making this letter up here. Not sure that this is the letter that the teacher wants you to use, but I'll use X to be my class mark. I'm going to find the midpoint here, and I'm going to say halfway between 5 and 7 is 6. The distance here between 5 and 8 is 3, so I'm just going to add 3 each time. Find the next class mark, and those points are going to represent 6, then 9. Let's go ahead and give myself some space here. 6, give myself 2 tick marks to the next one. 9, 2 tick marks. 12, 2 tick marks. 15, 2 tick marks. 18, 2 tick marks. 21, because this lightning bolt says that there's supposed to be some space there. So we're going to start at, and this is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It can't go by ones. Why can't it go by ones? Because I need to get up to 18. So this has to go by twos. This is going to have to go by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. See how 18 is my biggest? So we're going to start 6, 2, 9, 9. So 9 is going to be halfway between 8 and 10. Then 12, 18, all the way up here. Then we come back down to 13. It's going to be there. And then back down to 4. It's going to be here. And this one is at 1, which is, and then we get our straight edge and we connect like so. Make sure you can see those points. And the things that are in between the points don't really exist. You know, you just assume that that's how you're getting from one point to the other as a straight line, but you don't really know that. You know, you just know that the points are there. You don't know that anything between the points is actually there. But we like to play connect the dots with math and assume that if this point is here and that point is there, we probably connect those 2 points with a straight line. Okay, so that's called a line graph. You can make those in Excel as well, or Google Sheets. Make more line graphs here. I think they want you to make even more here. So I think all of these problems here are line graphs. Let me check. I think they're all line graphs until number 25. Let me take a quick look at that and make sure. Yes. Some of them have raw data, that's frequency on the left. Others have some meaningful labels, so you could put their students or cats or relative frequency or whatever. So, so this last two, these time series problems, are basically the same thing as a line graph. They're just a little different because it's time that's passing. So time is going to be on this axis, and frequency is going to be on this axis over here. And so we're going to go from January, February, let's say, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And then we have 32, so we need to go by, probably by tens here. Let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Nope, that's not enough. See, I need to go 184, so I need to actually go by 20s probably. Let's take this, let's make this roughly 200. Say 200 divided by, how many tick marks do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Well, let's say by 10. Say each one is 20. Okay. So let's say 20, 40, 60, 80, 1, 110, 120, 130. Nope. 120, 140, 160, 180, 200. Say that, okay? So 32 is going to be from January to February here. 32 is about I should have shifted this to the right a little bit. These should have been in the middle. Sorry. This should have been January here in the middle. And then I'm just going to make them right, and you can label them yourself. Put the name of the month in the midline in the middle, though. That's why I ran or had extra room over there. 70 is going to be up to here. And see how that would be February in the middle here. And then 73 going to be just a teeny bit higher here. Almost not noticeable, that's March. And then 111 is going to be up here. A little bit more than halfway. And then 184. Wow, what a jump. 184 is up here. See how I'm just going to use this middle line as my tick mark. 87 here. $45. 42 is even a little bit less than that. And then 67 is up here. Again, I'm going to say it again. Excel can do this perfectly. So, and again, you're trying to recognize what the right picture looks like in a multiple choice environment. You are not actually being asked to graph these perfectly by hand yet. 111 is back up in this range. Okay, and you would just, again, put your months there, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. All right. It's going to look something like that. Do the same thing again here, only you're going to have to think much bigger for your tick marks. You're probably going to need to go by units that are several hundred here, maybe as much as 500. This is 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, something like that, or maybe not quite that much. Maybe we only need to go by, say, 400s. So our biggest number is not quite 2,000. So let's say 400, 800, 1,200, 1,600, 2,000. There we go. And then, so when we go to 11, 12, somewhere there, 13, 56, 16, 27. Again, I'm eyeballing stuff. 1936. It's way up here. 1743. It's down here. 1481, roughly in here. It's a little bit above halfway. 1490, a little bit higher here. 1340 is around here. 1139, somewhere around here. 910, somewhere down here. 700, somewhere roughly down here. And 500 is roughly around here. So these things are called a time series because it's time that's passing, and it gives you an idea. It's a special bar graph or line graph that shows you how things might trend as time passes. So July, August, September, October, November, December. And I'm just going to go ahead and take a quick look at that. This is the last one. They actually did it as a line graph here. So I'm going to go back up here and show you what that means for me, what I should do. I'm just going to put the midpoint here on these. And then connect the dots, okay? So if I could delete the bars, I would, but sometimes the bars are actually helpful to you as well. You see the trend if things are going up or down. You can kind of see the slope. Is it kind of constant? Is it changing? Same thing here. The time series actually wanted these lines here. It's what they were looking for so that you could see the slopes, the rates of change. And again, you'd really want straight edges if you were doing this by hand, but again, you're going to be looking at computer printouts that you're going to be selecting multiple choice which is the right answer. So I know I didn't do every problem on this one because it would have taken so long. Still trying to keep it to about an hour long here, but I got through every type of problem for this, doing it by hand, trying to use the calculator as much as I can because that's what you're going to have. Honestly, though, the better tool for you to use here would be Excel, but it's not our job in this class to teach you to use Excel. Your teacher probably in statistics is going to focus on this calculator over here as well. So that's what we're going to focus on in this class, and just want you to recognize the different types of graphs, and that will be sufficient for us. But if you do have Excel questions, you want to see how to do it, there are some people in Math Central that can help you with that, or you can make an appointment. You can take that ITE class. Let me show you guys which class that is. Give me 1 second. Here it is. So ITE 140 right here is the Excel one. And its prerequisite is going to be ITE 115 or approval from the school. ITE 115 is your basic computer concepts. Do you know how to turn the computer on, open an application, type up a document in a word processor, you know, all those sorts of things that you need to know that are basic things. But they also do some spreadsheets, you know, and things in this class, some very basic things. So you might get what you need out of ITE 115, but ITE 140 really focuses specifically in and on Excel and how to make charts and all the functionality that you would need to get out of Excel, all the different things that you can do, work with multiple worksheets and formulas and functions and things. If you're really going to be doing something like accounting or quality assurance, quality control, something along those lines, loss prevention, any of those business type functions that we're going to be looking at data, some type of analysis, you'd want to probably take a class like this at some point so you really knew how to use Excel, because that's the main feature. And you would learn not just about the data, but about the graphs like we talked about today. That is not something that Math Central normally tutors, but as math classes intersect with needing to use Excel to do calculations and to make presentations for projects, we can sometimes assist with some of that. So feel free to come ask me. Usually in a one-on-one session would be better, or any of our other Math Central Plus tutors if you have questions related to how to create graphs like what we talked about here in the computer, in Excel or in Google Sheets or in Open Office, the equivalent of that. All right, I will talk to you guys next time when we talk about 5D. Have a good day.